Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, brought to you by Holistic Literary, explores the profound and transformative power of love as the ultimate force that transcends all boundaries, uniting every aspect of existence in a divine oneness. This concept delves into the idea that love is not merely an emotion, but the very essence of the source, the foundation of all creation. By embracing this boundless love, we can move beyond the illusions of separation and experience the true interconnectedness of all beings. This unity allows us to see the divine spark within every soul, leading us to treat each person with the reverence and grace they deserve. In this exploration, love is revealed as the sacred thread that weaves together the tapestry of life, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of the infinite and harmonious connection we share with all creation. Key themes for Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation include transcendence of boundaries, love as a force that transcends physical, emotional, and spiritual barriers, uniting all beings. Divine essence, love as the purest expression of the divine, the essence of the source itself. Unity and interconnectedness, the idea that all creation is interconnected through love, forming a unified whole. Sacredness of every soul, recognizing and honoring the divine spark within each person, seeing them as a cherished gift from the divine. Illumination and wisdom, love as a guiding light that illuminates the mind, leading to deeper understanding and wisdom. Dissolution of separation, the concept that living in boundless love dissolves the illusions of separation, allowing us to experience oneness with all creation. Reverence and grace, treating all beings with reverence, respect, and grace as a reflection of the divine love within them. The tapestry of existence, love as the thread that weaves together the fabric of life, symbolizing the interconnectedness of all beings in the universe. Divine oneness, the realization of the sacred unity that underlies all of creation, where love is the common bond. Healing power of love, love as the ultimate healer, capable of mending divisions and bringing wholeness to the world. Chapter 1. The Transcendence of Boundaries Through Infinite Love. In the opening chapter of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, we embark on a journey to explore the transcendental power of love, a force so profound that it dissolves all boundaries, be they physical, emotional, or spiritual. This chapter delves into the essence of love as a divine energy that surpasses the limitations of human perception, connecting us all to the source and to one another. Love as a transcendent force. Throughout history, great thinkers and spiritual leaders have spoken of love as a power that goes beyond the ordinary. For example, in The Prophet, Khalil Gibran eloquently describes love as an all-encompassing force that shakes us when we resist and shows us the way to our own depths. Gibran's view of love aligns with the idea that it transcends the superficial aspects of life, compelling us to explore the deeper realities of existence. Similarly, in The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle emphasizes the transformative nature of love, suggesting that it is not merely an emotion, but a state of being. Tolle writes, "Love is a state of being. Your love is not outside. It is deep within you. You can never lose it, and it cannot leave you." Here, Tolle captures the essence of love as an omnipresent force that transcends time and space, dwelling within the very core of our being. Boundaries dissolved by love. Consider the powerful example of a mother's love for her child. This love knows no bounds, often driving mothers to perform extraordinary acts of courage and sacrifice. In Les Miserables, Victor Hugo paints a poignant picture of such love in the character of Fantine. Despite her suffering and eventual downfall, Fantine's love for her daughter, Cosette, transcends her own pain and hardships. She endures unimaginable struggles, driven by the singular goal of securing her child's happiness, even at the cost of her own life. This kind of love demonstrates the ability to transcend not just physical limitations, but also societal and personal boundaries. Another example can be found in the life of Mahatma Gandhi, whose love for humanity transcended the confines of his own cultural and religious background. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence, ahimsa, was rooted in the belief that all people are interconnected, and that love can dissolve the boundaries of hatred and violence. His life is a testament to how love can break down the walls of division, uniting people across different races, religions, and nationalities in a shared vision of peace and justice. The divine nature of love. The transcendent nature of love also points to its divine origin. In many religious traditions, love is seen as a reflection of the divine. For instance, in Christianity, love is considered the very nature of God. In 1 John 4:8, it is stated, "Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love." This passage suggests that to experience true love is to experience the divine itself. The notion that love is not just a human emotion, but a divine force that connects us to the source, is central to understanding how love transcends all forms of separation. The Sufi poet Rumi also explores this theme extensively in his poetry. In one of his famous verses, he writes, "Love is the bridge between you and everything." Rumi's poetry often speaks of love as a mystical experience that transcends the physical world, leading one into a direct encounter with the divine. For Rumi, love is the means through which we come to understand our oneness with all of creation, dissolving the illusion of separateness that often defines our earthly existence. Practical manifestations of transcendent love. In everyday life, transcendent love can manifest in various ways. Acts of kindness towards strangers, the willingness to forgive those who have wronged us, and the compassion we extend to those in need are all expressions of a love that transcends the ego and its boundaries. When we move beyond our limited selves and connect with others on a deeper level, we are participating in this divine love that unites us all. One modern-day example of transcendent love is the work of Mother Teresa. Her selfless dedication to serving the poorest of the poor in the slums of Calcutta was driven by a love that saw beyond social status, religion, and nationality. Mother Teresa often spoke of seeing the face of Christ in every person she served, which illustrates her belief that love has the power to transcend all earthly divisions. In a more contemporary context, we can look at the global response to humanitarian crises. When natural disasters strike, or when refugees are forced to flee their homes, we often witness a remarkable outpouring of love and support from people across the world. This collective action, driven by a sense of shared humanity, exemplifies the transcendent nature of love. It shows how, in moments of crisis, love can dissolve the boundaries that normally divide us, bringing people together in a spirit of compassion and solidarity. Conclusion. Chapter 1 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation establishes the foundational understanding of love as a force that transcends all boundaries. Drawing on the insights of mystics, poets, and spiritual leaders, as well as real-world examples, we see that love is far more than a fleeting emotion. It is a profound, divine energy that connects us all. In recognizing and embracing this transcendent love, we begin to dissolve the illusions of separation and step into a greater awareness of our unity with all of creation. As we continue our journey through this book, we will explore how this transcendent love manifests in different aspects of life, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of our place in the cosmos and our connection with the divine. Chapter 2: Divine Essence and the Unity of Creation. In this chapter, we delve deeper into the nature of love as the purest expression of the divine and its role in forming the interconnected fabric of all creation. Building upon the foundation laid in Chapter 1, we explore how love serves not only as a transcendent force, but also as the very essence of the source, the divine origin from which all existence flows. This divine essence of love is the thread that weaves together the unity and interconnectedness of all life, revealing a universe that is whole and indivisible. Love as the purest expression of the divine. The concept of love as the divine essence is a recurring theme in many spiritual traditions. At its core, this idea suggests that love is not just an attribute of the divine, but the very substance of the divine itself. When we experience love in its purest form, we are, in essence, experiencing the divine. In Christianity, this is most clearly expressed in the idea that God is love, 1 John 4:8. This statement encapsulates the belief that love is the fundamental nature of God, and that all acts of true love are a reflection of the divine presence in the world. When we love selflessly and unconditionally, we align ourselves with the divine will, becoming channels through which divine love flows into the world. The Hindu tradition also speaks to this concept through the philosophy of Bhakti Yoga, which is the path of devotion and love towards the divine. Bhakti practitioners believe that by cultivating a deep and pure love for God, they can experience the divine directly. This love is not bound by rituals or dogmas, but is a spontaneous, heartfelt expression of the soul's connection to the divine. In this way, love becomes the bridge between the human and the divine, allowing the soul to merge with the source. Rumi, the Sufi mystic poet, offers another powerful illustration of this idea in his poetry. In one of his famous lines, he writes, "Love is the astrolabe of God's mysteries." For Rumi, love is the key to understanding the divine. It is through love that we come to know God, not as a distant, unknowable entity, but as a living, vibrant presence within us and all around us. This love is not merely an emotion. It is the very essence of the divine, manifesting in every aspect of creation. The unity and interconnectedness of all creation. Building on the idea of love as the divine essence, we arrive at the understanding that all creation is interconnected through this love. If love is the substance of the divine, and the divine is present in all things, then it follows that love is the force that binds the universe together in a unified whole. The concept of interconnectedness is beautifully captured in the Buddhist idea of Indra's net. According to this ancient metaphor, the universe is like a vast net, with a jewel at each intersection. Each jewel reflects all the other jewels, illustrating the interconnectedness of all life. In this metaphor, love can be seen as the light that each jewel reflects, an endless, infinite reflection that binds the entire cosmos together in a harmonious unity. Similarly, in the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Vietnamese Zen master, the concept of interbeing emphasizes that all things are interconnected and interdependent. He often uses the example of a flower, explaining that within the flower, you can see the entire universe, the rain, the soil, the sunshine, and the gardener's care. Without these, the flower could not exist. This interdependent nature of all things reflects the unity of creation, held together by the love that flows through and animates everything. In the natural world, this unity and interconnectedness are evident in ecosystems, where every species and element plays a role in maintaining balance and harmony. The symbiotic relationships between plants and pollinators, the interconnectedness of predator and prey, and the interdependence of all living things on the Earth's resources are all manifestations of this underlying unity. Love, in this context, is the force that drives cooperation, symbiosis, and mutual support, ensuring the survival and flourishing of all life forms. Examples of divine love and interconnectedness. To illustrate the divine essence of love and the interconnectedness it fosters, consider the life of St. Francis of Assisi. Known for his deep love for all creatures, St. Francis saw every aspect of nature as a reflection of God's love. He referred to the sun as brother sun and the moon as sister moon, expressing his belief in the familial bond that connects all of creation. His famous Canticle of the Sun is a testament to this worldview, celebrating the divine presence in all aspects of nature and emphasizing the unity of all life through the lens of love. Another example can be found in the indigenous wisdom of many Native American cultures, which often emphasize the sacredness of all life and the interconnectedness of all beings. For instance, the Lakota Sioux concept of Mitakui Oyasin means all my relations and expresses the belief that all living things are connected. This phrase is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of living in harmony with nature, respecting the web of life that sustains us all. This respect and love for all of creation is a recognition of the divine essence present in every part of the natural world. Living in the unity of divine love. Understanding love as the purest expression of the divine and the force that unifies all creation has profound implications for how we live our lives. When we see the world through the lens of divine love, we begin to recognize the sacredness in everything around us. This awareness transforms our relationships, our actions, and our perceptions, guiding us to live in harmony with the universe. Living in this unity means recognizing that every act of love, no matter how small, contributes to the greater good of the whole. When we love selflessly, we participate in the divine act of creation, nurturing the bonds that connect us to one another and to the divine source. In this way, our lives become expressions of the divine love that sustains the universe. For example, environmental stewardship can be seen as an expression of divine love. By caring for the earth and its ecosystems, we honor the interconnectedness of all life and acknowledge our role as caretakers of the planet. This responsibility is not just a duty, but an act of love, a reflection of the divine love that permeates all of creation. In our interpersonal relationships, recognizing the divine essence of love leads us to treat others with compassion, respect, and kindness. When we see the divine spark within each person, we are more likely to forgive, to understand, and to support one another. This understanding fosters a sense of unity and interconnectedness that transcends differences, leading to a more peaceful and harmonious world. Conclusion. Chapter 2 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation reveals the profound truth that love is the purest expression of the divine, the essence from which all life emerges. This divine love is not confined to any one being or place. It is the unifying force that connects all of creation in a harmonious whole. By recognizing and embracing this truth, we can live in a way that honors the divine essence in ourselves, in others, and in the world around us. As we continue to explore the themes of love and unity in the following chapters, we will see how this understanding can transform not only our inner lives, but also the world we inhabit. Love, as the divine essence, has the power to heal, to unify, and to guide us toward a deeper experience of the oneness that underlies all of existence. Chapter 3: Unity and Interconnectedness through the Lens of Divine Love. In Chapter 3 of infinite love and the unity of creation. We explore how the divine love that permeates the universe serves as the foundation for the unity and interconnectedness of all creation. This chapter delves into the idea that everything in the universe is bound together by a sacred bond of love, a force that not only connects us to each other, but also to the entirety of existence. By understanding and embracing this interconnectedness, we can experience the profound oneness of all life and live in harmony with the universe. The philosophical foundation of unity. The concept of unity and interconnectedness has been a central theme in the teachings of many great philosophers and spiritual leaders throughout history. The idea that all beings are part of a larger, unified whole can be found in the works of Plato, who, in his theory of forms, suggested that all individual things are merely reflections of a greater, unified reality. While Plato's focus was more metaphysical, the underlying principle of a shared essence resonates with the idea of divine love unifying all creation. In Eastern philosophy, the concept of Advaita Vedanta, a school of Hindu philosophy, teaches the non-duality of the self, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman. According to Advaita, the perceived separation between individuals is an illusion, Maya. In truth, all beings are manifestations of the same divine reality. This philosophy echoes the idea that at the deepest level, everything is interconnected, and this interconnectedness is a reflection of divine love. Adi Shankaracharya, the proponent of Advaita, taught that by realizing this oneness, one transcends the ego and experiences the ultimate unity with the source. Similarly, in the works of the Persian mystic poet Rumi, we find a profound celebration of unity. Rumi often spoke of love as the unifying force that dissolves the boundaries between the self and the other. In one of his famous verses he writes, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." This poetic metaphor encapsulates the idea that each individual is a microcosm of the entire universe, interconnected and inseparable from the whole. Rumi's vision of unity through love reflects a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. The web of life, interconnectedness in nature. The interconnectedness of all life is perhaps most evident in the natural world, where every organism is part of a complex web of relationships that sustains the ecosystem. The work of renowned naturalist John Muir provides a vivid exploration of this theme. Muir famously wrote, "When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe." This insight captures the essence of ecological interconnectedness, that every part of nature is linked to every other part, forming a delicate balance that supports life on Earth. The idea of the web of life is not just a poetic metaphor, but a scientific reality. In ecosystems, species are interconnected through food chains, symbiotic relationships, and mutual dependencies. For example, consider the relationship between bees and flowering plants. Bees pollinate the flowers, allowing them to reproduce, while the flowers provide nectar for the bees. This mutually beneficial relationship is just one of countless examples of how interconnectedness is fundamental to the survival of life on Earth. In his book, The Hidden Life of Trees, forester Peter Wohlleben expands on this idea, revealing how trees in a forest are interconnected through a complex underground network of roots and fungi. This wood wide web allows trees to share nutrients, communicate with one another, and support each other in times of stress. Wohleben's work highlights the often overlooked connections in nature, showing that even seemingly independent organisms are deeply interconnected, forming a cooperative community that thrives through mutual support. Love as the unifying force. In the human realm, love acts as the unifying force that brings people together, transcending differences and fostering a sense of belonging and unity. This idea is powerfully expressed in the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr., who often spoke of love as the force that could unify humanity in the pursuit of justice and equality. In his famous speech, "Loving Your Enemies," King said, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." Here, King emphasizes that love has the power to break down barriers of hatred and division, fostering unity even in the face of profound differences. King's vision of the beloved community was one where love and justice prevail over division and hatred, creating a society where all people are interconnected and valued. His teachings remind us that love is not just an emotion, but a powerful force for social transformation, capable of uniting diverse groups of people in the common pursuit of a just and equitable world. The idea of love as a unifying force is also central to the philosophy of Teilhard de Chardin, a French Jesuit priest and philosopher. Teilhard envisioned the universe as evolving towards greater complexity and unity, a process he called the Omega Point. At the heart of this evolution, he believed, was love, the force that drives all creation toward unity and coherence. Teilhard wrote, "Love is the most universal, the most tremendous, and the most mysterious of the cosmic forces. It is the primal and universal energy." For Teilhard, love was not just a human experience, but a cosmic force that unites the entire universe in a dynamic process of becoming. Human interconnectedness, social and spiritual dimensions. The interconnectedness of human beings is not only a biological or ecological reality, but also a social and spiritual one. The African concept of Ubuntu encapsulates this idea beautifully. Ubuntu is a philosophy that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all people, expressed in the phrase, "I am because we are." This concept teaches that an individual's well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others, and that we are all part of a larger interdependent community. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a prominent advocate of Ubuntu, explained that this philosophy fosters a sense of shared humanity, where individuals see themselves as part of a collective whole. He said, "A person is a person through other persons. None of us comes into the world fully formed. We would not know how to think or walk or speak or behave as human beings unless we learned it from other human beings. We need other human beings in order to be human." Tutu's reflections on Ubuntu highlight the deep interconnectedness of human life, where love and compassion are the bonds that unite us. On a more personal level, the writings of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, offer profound insights into the interconnectedness of human beings. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl discusses how, even in the darkest moments of suffering, love can provide a sense of connection and purpose. He writes, "The salvation of man is through love and in love." Frankl's experiences in the concentration camps taught him that love is the ultimate expression of our interconnectedness, giving us the strength to endure and the motivation to transcend our individual struggles. Embracing unity in a fragmented world. In today's world, where division and fragmentation often seem to dominate, the recognition of our interconnectedness through love is more important than ever. The teachings of modern spiritual leaders like the Dalai Lama emphasize the need to cultivate compassion and love as antidotes to the division. The Dalai Lama often speaks of universal responsibility, the idea that each of us has a role to play in creating a more compassionate and interconnected world. He says, "We are all the same, human beings, maybe the details are different, but basically, emotionally, mentally, and physically, we are the same. We each have the potential to contribute something to the benefit of humanity." In the face of global challenges such as climate change, social inequality, and conflict, recognizing our interconnectedness is crucial. Movements for social and environmental justice often emphasize the idea that our well-being is tied to the well-being of others, and that we must work together in a spirit of love and solidarity to address the challenges we face. Whether it is through grassroots activism, community-building efforts, or personal acts of kindness, every effort to foster unity and interconnectedness is an expression of divine love in action. Conclusion. Chapter 3 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation brings us to the heart of our understanding of the universe as a unified, interconnected whole, held together by the force of divine love. From the natural world to human societies, from ancient philosophies to modern spiritual teachings, we see that love is the thread that weaves everything together, creating a tapestry of interconnectedness that binds us all. As we move forward in this exploration of love and unity, we will continue to uncover the ways in which this interconnectedness shapes our lives, our relationships, and our understanding of the divine. By embracing the truth of our unity with all creation, we can live more fully in harmony with the universe, contributing to the unfolding of a world where love and compassion guide every action and decision. Chapter 3: Unity and Interconnectedness through the lens of divine love. In this chapter, we explore the profound concept of unity and interconnectedness as seen through the lens of divine love. This idea, that all of creation is bound together by love, is central to many spiritual and philosophical traditions. It suggests that every part of the universe is interconnected, forming a unified whole. By understanding and embracing this interconnectedness, we can deepen our sense of compassion, empathy, and responsibility toward others, recognizing that we are all part of a greater divine tapestry. The philosophical foundation of unity. The notion of unity and interconnectedness has been a cornerstone of philosophical thought throughout history. In his dialogues, Plato alludes to the idea that all individual entities are reflections of a greater, unified reality. While Plato's focus was on metaphysical forms, his work provides a foundation for understanding how everything is interconnected, even if this unity is not immediately visible to the human eye. In Eastern philosophy, particularly in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta, a non-dualistic school of Hindu thought, the idea of unity is paramount. Advaita teaches that the self, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman, are one and the same. According to this philosophy, the apparent separation between individuals and the world is an illusion. The ultimate truth is that all beings are manifestations of a single divine reality. Adi Shankaracharya, a leading figure in Advaita Vedanta, emphasized that by realizing this non-duality, one transcends the illusions of individuality and experiences the profound unity of all existence. This understanding aligns with the idea that divine love is the underlying force that unites all beings. Similarly, the Sufi poet Rumi offers a vision of love as the ultimate unifying force in the universe. Rumi's poetry often celebrates the dissolution of boundaries between the self and the other through love. In one of his most famous lines he writes, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." This metaphor beautifully encapsulates the idea that each individual is a microcosm of the entire universe, reflecting the interconnectedness and unity of all creation. Rumi's work invites us to see love as the means through which we can perceive and experience this oneness. Interconnectedness in the natural world. The interconnectedness of all life is vividly illustrated in the natural world, where ecosystems demonstrate the delicate balance and mutual dependencies that sustain life. John Muir, the renowned naturalist, eloquently captured this concept when he wrote, "When we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. Muir's observation reflects the fundamental truth that all elements of nature are interconnected, and that the survival of one part depends on the well-being of the whole. This interconnectedness is evident in countless ecological relationships. For instance, the symbiotic relationship between bees and flowering plants is a classic example of mutual dependence. Bees rely on flowers for nectar, while flowers depend on bees for pollination. This relationship not only sustains both species, but also supports entire ecosystems by enabling plant reproduction. Such examples underscore the idea that no organism exists in isolation. Rather, all life forms are part of a complex web of interactions that sustain the balance of nature. In his book, The Hidden Life of Trees, Peter Wohlleben explores the idea of interconnectedness in the forest ecosystem. Wohlleben reveals how trees communicate and share resources through a vast underground network of roots and fungi, often referred to as the wood wide web. This network allows trees to support one another, sharing nutrients and information that help them survive and thrive. Wohleben's work highlights the often unseen connections in nature, showing that even seemingly independent organisms are part of a larger interconnected community. Love as the unifying force. Love, as the unifying force in the human realm, transcends differences and fosters a deep sense of connection and belonging. This concept is powerfully articulated in the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr., who viewed love as the fundamental force capable of uniting humanity. In his famous speech, Loving Your Enemies, King stated, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." King's vision of love as a transformative power that can break down barriers of hatred and division reflects a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all people. King's concept of the beloved community embodies the idea that love and justice can create a society where all individuals are valued and connected. This community is one where people recognize their shared humanity and work together to build a more equitable and compassionate world. King's teachings remind us that love is not merely a personal emotion, but a powerful social force that can bring about unity and healing in a divided world. Teilhard de Chardin, a French Jesuit priest and philosopher, also spoke of love as the driving force behind the evolution of the universe towards greater unity and complexity. Teilhard introduced the concept of the omega point, a future state of perfect unity where all of creation converges in a final synthesis. He believed that love was the energy propelling this evolutionary process, guiding all beings towards greater unity. Teilhard wrote, "Love is the most universal, the most tremendous, and the most mysterious of the cosmic forces. It is the primal and universal energy." His vision suggests that love is not just a human experience, but a cosmic principle that underlies the unity of all creation. Human interconnectedness, social and spiritual dimensions. The interconnectedness of human beings is reflected not only in our biological and ecological relationships, but also in our social and spiritual lives. The African philosophy of Ubuntu encapsulates this idea, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all people. The concept of Ubuntu is often expressed as, "I am because we are," highlighting the idea that our individual well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others. This philosophy fosters a sense of community and shared responsibility, where each person's humanity is recognized and respected. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a prominent advocate of Ubuntu, explained that this philosophy is about recognizing our shared humanity and living in a way that respects and uplifts others. Tutu said, "A person is a person through other persons. None of us comes into the world fully formed. We would not know how to think or walk or speak or behave as human beings unless we learned it from other human beings." Tutu's reflections on Ubuntu highlight the deep social and spiritual interconnectedness of human life, where love and compassion are the bonds that unite us. On a more personal level, Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, offers profound insights into the interconnectedness of human beings through the lens of love. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl discusses how love provided him with a sense of connection and purpose, even in the darkest moments of his life. He writes, "The salvation of man is through love and in love." Frankl's experiences in the concentration camps taught him that love is the ultimate expression of our interconnectedness, giving us the strength to endure suffering and the motivation to transcend our individual struggles. Embracing unity in a fragmented world. In a world where division and fragmentation often seem to dominate, recognizing our interconnectedness through love is more important than ever. The teachings of the Dalai Lama emphasize the need to cultivate compassion and love as means to bridge the divides that separate us. The Dalai Lama often speaks of universal responsibility, the idea that each of us has a role to play in creating a more compassionate and interconnected world. He says, "We are all the same, human beings, maybe the details are different, but basically, emotionally, mentally, and physically, we are the same. We each have the potential to contribute something to the benefit of humanity." In the face of global challenges such as climate change, social inequality, and conflict, recognizing our interconnectedness is crucial. Movements for social and environmental justice often emphasize that our well-being is tied to the well-being of others, and that we must work together in a spirit of love and solidarity to address these challenges. Whether through grassroots activism, community building efforts, or personal acts of kindness, every effort to foster unity and interconnectedness is an expression of divine love in action. Chapter 4. Compassion as the expression of divine love and unity. In Chapter 4 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, we turn our focus to compassion, a profound and transformative expression of divine love that flows naturally from the recognition of our interconnectedness. Compassion, often described as love in action, is the manifestation of the unity that underlies all creation. Through compassion, we not only acknowledge our shared humanity, but also actively participate in the healing and uplifting of the world around us. This chapter explores the deep roots of compassion in spiritual and philosophical traditions, its practical implications, and how it serves as a bridge between individual love and collective well-being. The roots of compassion in spiritual traditions. Compassion has been central to the teachings of many spiritual leaders and traditions, often viewed as a direct expression of divine love. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the four immeasurables, known as karuna. It is considered a fundamental quality that one must cultivate to achieve enlightenment. The Dalai Lama, one of the most prominent advocates of compassion in the modern world, often emphasizes that compassion is the essence of spiritual practice. He states, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion." For the Dalai Lama, compassion is not just an ethical choice but a path to inner peace and harmony with the universe. In Christianity, compassion is deeply rooted in the teachings of Jesus Christ. The parable of the Good Samaritan, for example, is a powerful narrative about the importance of compassion towards others, regardless of their background or circumstances. Jesus' teachings emphasize that true compassion involves not just feeling pity or sympathy, but taking action to alleviate the suffering of others. This concept is beautifully encapsulated in the Beatitudes, where Jesus blesses those who are merciful, saying, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy." Matthew 5:7. In this context, compassion is seen as a reflection of divine mercy, a way of embodying the love of God in our interactions with others. The Sufi tradition in Islam also places a significant emphasis on compassion. The 13th century Sufi mystic, Rumi, wrote extensively about the transformative power of love and compassion. In one of his famous verses, Rumi declares, "Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground." This line suggests that compassion, as an act of love, can take many forms, all of which are ways of connecting with the divine. For Rumi, compassion is an expression of the divine love that permeates all existence, inviting us to see the sacred in every being and act accordingly. Compassion as a bridge to unity. Compassion serves as a bridge between individual love and collective well-being, creating connections that transcend the boundaries of self-interest. When we act with compassion, we recognize that the suffering of others is, in some sense, our own. This recognition is rooted in the understanding of unity, that all beings are interconnected, and that the well-being of one is intimately tied to the well-being of all. The philosophy of Ubuntu in African cultures, as discussed in the previous chapter, underscores this point. Ubuntu teaches that I am because we are, emphasizing that our humanity is realized through our relationships with others. Compassion, in this framework, is not just a moral obligation, but a natural expression of our shared existence. It reflects the understanding that by uplifting others, we uplift ourselves, contributing to the harmony and unity of the whole. Mahatma Gandhi, who was deeply influenced by Hindu and Jain principles of nonviolence, ahimsa, and compassion, often spoke about the importance of compassion in social and political life. He believed that true compassion required active engagement in the struggles of others, and he practiced this belief through his leadership in the Indian independence movement. Gandhi's concept of satyagraha, or truth force, was based on the idea that non-violent resistance, grounded in compassion for both the oppressed and the oppressor, could bring about social change and unity. He famously stated, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." For Gandhi, compassion was the highest expression of divine love, guiding not just personal conduct, but also collective action towards justice and unity. The role of compassion in healing and reconciliation. Compassion also plays a crucial role in healing and reconciliation, both on a personal and societal level. In his book, No Future Without Forgiveness, Archbishop Desmond Tutu discusses the importance of compassion in the process of healing the wounds of apartheid in South Africa. Tutu, who chaired the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, emphasized that compassion and forgiveness were essential for the nation to move forward. He believed that by acknowledging the suffering of all parties involved and offering compassion instead of vengeance, a fractured society could begin to heal. Tutu's work demonstrates how compassion can be a powerful force for reconciliation, helping to restore unity in the aftermath of division and conflict. Similarly, Viktor Frankl's experiences during the Holocaust, as detailed in Man's Search for Meaning, reveal the power of compassion in the face of unimaginable suffering. Frankl observed that those who were able to maintain a sense of compassion for others, even in the concentration camps, were more likely to find meaning and survive the ordeal. He wrote, "The salvation of man is through love and in love." Frankl's insights suggest that compassion, as an expression of love, can provide not only comfort to others but also strength and resilience to the one who offers it. In this way, compassion acts as a unifying force, bringing together those who suffer and those who support them, creating a sense of shared humanity even in the darkest times. Compassion in everyday life. While compassion is often discussed in the context of major social movements and historical events, it is also a vital part of everyday life. Acts of compassion, whether small gestures of kindness or larger efforts to help those in need, serve to reinforce the bonds of connection and unity in our communities. When we practice compassion in our daily interactions, we contribute to a culture of empathy and understanding, which can have a ripple effect throughout society. For example, the simple act of listening with empathy to someone who is struggling can be a profound expression of compassion. In her book, The Empathy Effect, Helen Rees, a psychiatrist and researcher, discusses how empathy, a precursor to compassion, can strengthen relationships and foster a deeper sense of connection between individuals. Rees's work highlights that compassion is not just an abstract ideal, but a practical skill that can be cultivated and applied in everyday life. By practicing compassion, we not only improve our relationships, but also contribute to a more connected and harmonious society. Another example is the global response to natural disasters and humanitarian crises. When people from around the world come together to provide aid and support to those affected, they are practicing compassion on a large scale. This collective response, driven by the recognition of our shared humanity, exemplifies the power of compassion to unite people across cultural, geographical, and political divides. It shows that at our core, we are all connected by the same basic needs and desires for well-being and security, and that compassion is the force that drives us to respond to those needs in others. Conclusion. Chapter 4 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation underscores the vital role of compassion as an expression of divine love and a pathway to unity. Through the teachings of spiritual leaders, the philosophy of interconnectedness, and examples from history and everyday life, we see that compassion is not just a virtue but a fundamental aspect of our shared existence. It is the practical manifestation of the unity that underlies all creation, enabling us to bridge the gaps between individuals, communities, and nations. As we continue to explore the themes of love, unity, and interconnectedness in the subsequent chapters, we will see how compassion serves as a guiding principle for living in harmony with the world. By embracing compassion in our thoughts, words, and actions, we can contribute to the creation of a more loving, just, and unified world, a world where the divine essence of love is reflected in every aspect of our lives. Chapter 5. Forgiveness as the Path to Unity and Healing. In Chapter 5 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, we explore the transformative power of forgiveness as a vital component of divine love and a crucial path toward unity and healing. Forgiveness, often seen as a challenging and complex process, is a profound act of love that transcends personal grievances and fosters reconciliation. By embracing forgiveness, we not only heal our own wounds, but also contribute to the healing of the collective, breaking cycles of pain and division that perpetuate suffering. The spiritual significance of forgiveness. Forgiveness holds a central place in many spiritual traditions, where it is viewed as an essential practice for personal and communal peace. In Christianity, the act of forgiveness is one of the core teachings of Jesus Christ. In the Lord's Prayer, Christians are taught to ask for forgiveness and to forgive others, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Matthew 6:12. This reciprocal nature of forgiveness emphasizes that the act of forgiving others is intertwined with receiving forgiveness from God, reflecting the idea that divine love flows through us when we let go of resentment and anger. Jesus' ultimate act of forgiveness on the cross, where he prayed for those who were crucifying him, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. serves as a powerful example of the depth of divine love. This moment of profound forgiveness highlights the possibility of transcending even the most extreme acts of injustice through love, offering a path to unity and reconciliation. In Buddhism, forgiveness is also seen as a way to release oneself from the bonds of hatred and anger. The Dhammapada, a collection of sayings of the Buddha, states, "He abused me, he struck me, he overpowered me, he robbed me. Those who harbor such thoughts do not still their hatred. He abused me, he struck me, he overpowered me, he robbed me. Those who do not harbor such thoughts still their hatred." This teaching emphasizes that clinging to resentment only perpetuates suffering. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is a way to let go of negative emotions, achieving inner peace and fostering compassion towards others. In the Islamic tradition, forgiveness is considered one of the attributes of Allah, and believers are encouraged to emulate this divine quality in their interactions with others. The Quran states, "But if you pardon and overlook and forgive, then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful." Quran 64:14. This verse underscores the importance of forgiveness as a reflection of divine mercy, encouraging Muslims to practice forgiveness as a way of living in accordance with divine love. The power of forgiveness in personal transformation. Forgiveness is not only a spiritual practice, but also a powerful tool for personal transformation. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the burden of resentment and anger, allowing us to move forward with a sense of peace and clarity. This personal liberation is essential for healing, as it breaks the chains of past hurts that keep us tied to negative experiences. The work of psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, as discussed in previous chapters, offers a profound perspective on the power of forgiveness. In Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl reflects on his experiences in the concentration camps and how some prisoners were able to forgive their captors, finding a sense of meaning and inner freedom despite the horrific circumstances. Frankl observed that forgiveness allowed individuals to reclaim their humanity and dignity, even in the face of extreme dehumanization. This capacity to forgive, he argued, was a key aspect of psychological and spiritual resilience, enabling individuals to transcend their suffering and find a deeper sense of purpose. Similarly, in his autobiography Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela describes how forgiveness was central to his journey from prisoner to president of South Africa. After spending 27 years in prison under the apartheid regime, Mandela emerged not with a desire for revenge, but with a commitment to reconciliation. He famously said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." Mandela's choice to forgive those who had oppressed him was not just a personal decision, but a strategic one that paved the way for the peaceful transition of power and the healing of a deeply divided nation. His leadership exemplifies how forgiveness can be a catalyst for social change, creating a foundation for unity and collective healing. Forgiveness and reconciliation in communities. Forgiveness also plays a critical role in the healing of communities and nations. In situations of conflict, where historical grievances and injustices have created deep divisions, forgiveness can be the first step towards reconciliation and peace. However, this process often requires collective effort and a commitment to truth-telling, justice, and the recognition of past wrongs. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, in South Africa, chaired by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, is one of the most well-known examples of forgiveness being used as a tool for national healing. The TRC provided a platform for victims of apartheid to share their stories and for perpetrators to confess their crimes in exchange for amnesty. Tutu's philosophy of restorative justice, which focuses on healing rather than punishment, was grounded in the belief that forgiveness was essential for the country to move beyond its violent past. Tutu often spoke of forgiveness as a way of restoring dignity to both victims and perpetrators, enabling them to coexist in a new, unified South Africa. A similar approach was taken in Rwanda after the genocide of 1994, where the Gacaca courts were established to address the massive number of crimes committed during the conflict. These community-based courts were rooted in traditional practices and emphasized reconciliation over retribution. While not without controversy, the process allowed many survivors to forgive those who had wronged them, facilitating the rebuilding of Rwandan society. This collective process of forgiveness and reconciliation helped to lay the groundwork for the country's recovery and ongoing efforts towards unity. The challenges of forgiveness. While forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing and unity, it is not without its challenges. Forgiving someone who has caused deep harm can be incredibly difficult, especially when the wounds are fresh or the injustice is ongoing. In such cases, forgiveness may feel like an impossible task, one that requires a significant emotional and spiritual effort. However, it is important to recognize that forgiveness is not about condoning or excusing harmful behavior. Rather, it is about freeing oneself from the cycle of resentment and anger that can keep one trapped in the past. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the wrongs that have been done, but rather choosing to let go of the hold they have on one's life. In her book, The Book of Forgiving, Archbishop Desmond Tutu's daughter, Mfo Tutu, and he explored the process of forgiveness as a journey with 4 steps, telling the story, naming the hurt, granting forgiveness, and renewing or releasing the relationship. This model acknowledges the difficulty of forgiveness and provides a framework for navigating it. By recognizing the pain and injustice and then choosing to forgive, individuals can begin to heal and move towards reconciliation. The role of forgiveness in global healing. In today's global context, where conflicts, inequalities, and historical grievances continue to divide societies, the practice of forgiveness is more important than ever. Forgiveness can serve as a powerful tool for healing on a global scale, helping to resolve conflicts, repair relationships, and build more just and compassionate societies. Pope Francis, a vocal advocate for peace and reconciliation, has frequently spoken about the importance of forgiveness in addressing global challenges. He has called for a culture of encounter, where forgiveness and dialogue replace division and conflict. In his encyclical Fratelli Tutti, Pope Francis emphasizes that forgiveness is essential for building a more inclusive and peaceful world. He writes, "Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means refusing to yield to the same destructive force that caused us so much suffering. It means choosing not to perpetuate the hatred and violence that are eroding the soul of our world." By embracing forgiveness as a global practice, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and work towards a future where unity and compassion prevail. This requires not only individual efforts, but also collective action, where communities and nations commit to the difficult work of truth-telling, justice, and reconciliation. Conclusion. Chapter 5 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation highlights the profound role of forgiveness as a path to unity and healing. Through the lens of spiritual teachings, personal stories, and historical examples, we see that forgiveness is not just an act of personal liberation, but a powerful force for collective transformation. By choosing to forgive, we release ourselves from the chains of resentment and anger, opening the door to reconciliation and unity. As we continue to explore the themes of love, unity, and interconnectedness in the following chapters, we will see how forgiveness, compassion, and other expressions of divine love can guide us toward a more peaceful and harmonious world. Through forgiveness, we can begin to heal the divisions that separate us, creating a foundation for unity and collective well-being in our communities and beyond. Chapter 6: Compassionate Action. Living Love in the World. In this chapter, we explore the concept of compassionate action, the tangible expression of love that actively seeks to alleviate suffering and promote well-being in the world. Compassionate action is the bridge between inner love and outer service, where love moves beyond sentiment and into the realm of meaningful impact. By engaging in compassionate action, we participate in the divine flow of love, contributing to the healing and unification of the world around us. The intersection of love and service. Throughout history, many spiritual leaders and thinkers have emphasized the importance of putting love into action. Love, they argue, is not merely a feeling or a state of mind, but is best demonstrated through acts of kindness, service, and justice. In Christianity, the teachings of Jesus Christ highlight the necessity of serving others as a fundamental expression of divine love. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Matthew 25:40. This passage underscores the idea that love for God and love for others are inseparable, and that caring for those in need is a direct way of expressing love for the divine. Mother Teresa, a modern embodiment of this teaching, devoted her life to serving the poorest of the poor in the slums of Calcutta. Her work was driven by the belief that every person is a manifestation of Christ, and thus deserving of love and dignity. She famously said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Mother Teresa's life illustrates how compassionate action, even in small, seemingly insignificant forms, can have a profound impact on the lives of others. Her legacy continues to inspire millions around the world to engage in service as an expression of divine love. In Buddhism, the concept of bodhisattva embodies the ideal of compassionate action. A bodhisattva is someone who, motivated by compassion, seeks to attain enlightenment, not just for themselves but for the benefit of all beings. This path involves selfless service and the alleviation of suffering, grounded in the understanding that all life is interconnected. The Dalai Lama, often considered a living bodhisattva, has dedicated his life to promoting compassion, nonviolence, and peace. He teaches that true happiness comes not from self-centered pursuits, but from compassionate action that benefits others. The Dalai Lama's life and teachings highlight how compassionate action is a way of living love in the world, contributing to the well-being of all. Compassionate action and social justice. Compassionate action is not limited to individual acts of kindness. It also involves engaging with broader social issues and working towards justice. Love, when it extends beyond personal relationships, demands that we address the systemic inequalities and injustices that cause suffering in the world. Compassionate action in this context becomes a force for social change, seeking to create a more just and equitable society. Martin Luther King Jr. is a powerful example of someone who lived out compassionate action in the pursuit of social justice. King's philosophy of nonviolence was rooted in the Christian principle of agape, or selfless love, which he believed should be the guiding force in the struggle for civil rights. In his famous Letter from Birmingham Jail, King wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." King's words reflect a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all people and the importance of compassionate action in addressing injustice. His leadership in the civil rights movement exemplifies how love can be a powerful force for social transformation when it is put into action. Similarly, Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha, which means truth force or soul force, was a form of non-violent resistance that sought to confront oppression with love and compassion. Gandhi believed that true power comes not from coercion or violence, but from the moral authority of living in accordance with truth and love. His commitment to non-violence and compassionate action played a crucial role in India's struggle for independence and continues to influence social justice movements around the world. Gandhi's life demonstrates that compassionate action can challenge and transform unjust systems, leading to greater freedom and unity. The role of compassionate action in community building. Compassionate action also plays a vital role in building and sustaining communities. When individuals and groups come together to serve a common good, they create bonds of trust, cooperation, and mutual support that strengthen the fabric of society. These acts of service not only benefit those who receive help, but also enrich the lives of those who give, fostering a sense of purpose, connection, and belonging. Jane Addams, a pioneer of social work and community organization in the United States, understood the importance of compassionate action in community building. She founded Hull House in Chicago, a settlement house that provided services such as education, childcare, and healthcare to immigrants and the urban poor. Addams believed that social reform was most effective when it was grounded in a deep empathy for those in need. She wrote, "The good we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our common life." Addams' work illustrates how compassionate action can address the immediate needs of a community, while also promoting long-term social change. In more contemporary settings, the rise of volunteerism and community service initiatives around the world reflects the enduring importance of compassionate action in building strong, resilient communities. Programs like Habitat for Humanity, food banks, and various grassroots organizations demonstrate how collective efforts to address local issues can lead to significant positive outcomes. These initiatives show that when people come together out of love and concern for their neighbors, they can create environments where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. The challenges of compassionate action. While the benefits of compassionate action are profound, it is important to acknowledge the challenges that often accompany this path. Engaging in compassionate action requires not only a willingness to serve, but also the ability to confront suffering, injustice, and adversity with resilience and hope. This work can be emotionally taxing and may sometimes lead to burnout, especially when the scale of the problem seems overwhelming or when efforts do not produce immediate results. Moreover, compassionate action requires a deep commitment to empathy and understanding, which can be difficult to maintain in the face of hostility, indifference, or opposition. Those who engage in compassionate action must navigate complex ethical dilemmas, such as balancing the needs of different groups, prioritizing limited resources, and addressing the root causes of problems rather than just their symptoms. To sustain compassionate action over the long term, it is essential to cultivate practices that support inner well-being, such as mindfulness, reflection, and connection with a supportive community. Figures like the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa have emphasized the importance of spiritual practice in maintaining the strength and clarity needed for sustained compassionate action. These practices help individuals stay grounded in love and prevent burnout, allowing them to continue serving others with an open heart. Global compassionate action, addressing the world's challenges. In an increasingly interconnected world, the need for compassionate action on a global scale has never been more urgent. Issues such as climate change, poverty, and conflict require collective efforts that transcend national borders and cultural differences. Compassionate action in this context involves not only responding to crises, but also working to prevent them by addressing systemic issues and promoting global solidarity. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) are an example of a global framework for compassionate action. The SDGs aim to address a wide range of issues, including ending poverty, ensuring access to education and healthcare, and promoting peace and justice. Achieving these goals requires cooperation and compassion on a global scale, with governments, organizations, and individuals all playing a role in creating a more just and sustainable world. Environmental activism, driven by a deep love and concern for the planet and future generations, is another form of global compassionate action. Figures like Greta Thunberg have mobilized millions of people around the world to take action on climate change, highlighting the interconnectedness of all life on Earth and the need for urgent, collective action. Thunberg's activism, along with that of many others, demonstrates how compassionate action can inspire global movements that seek to protect the environment and ensure the well-being of all living beings. Conclusion. Chapter 6 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation emphasizes that love, when expressed through compassionate action, has the power to transform individuals, communities, and the world. Compassionate action is the practical application of love, where we move beyond mere intentions and engage in meaningful efforts to alleviate suffering and promote well-being. As we continue to explore the themes of love, unity, and interconnectedness in the following chapters, we will see how compassionate action can be a guiding principle for living in harmony with the world. By committing to acts of love in our daily lives and in the broader context of social and global issues, we can contribute to a more just, peaceful, and unified world, a world where the divine essence of love is reflected in every aspect of our collective existence. Chapter 7. The Role of Empathy in Fostering Unity and Connection. In Chapter 7 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, we delve into the critical role of empathy in fostering unity and deepening our connections with others. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is a cornerstone of compassionate living. It allows us to transcend our own experiences and enter into the emotional world of others, creating bonds that unite us across differences. In a world often marked by division and misunderstanding, empathy serves as a powerful tool for building bridges, healing relationships, and nurturing the collective well-being of humanity. The nature of empathy. Empathy is more than just an emotional response. It is a profound act of imagination and understanding. It requires us to put ourselves in another person's shoes, to see the world from their perspective, and to feel what they feel. This capacity for empathy is deeply embedded in our nature as social beings, and it is essential for forming meaningful connections with others. In his book, The Empathic Civilization, sociologist Jeremy Rifkin argues that empathy is the driving force behind human progress and the development of civilization. He suggests that as societies become more interconnected, our ability to empathize with people outside our immediate communities grows, leading to a more inclusive and compassionate world. Rifkin envisions a future where empathy expands to include not just fellow humans, but all living beings, creating a truly global empathic consciousness. This vision aligns with the idea that empathy is central to the unity of creation, connecting all beings in a shared experience of life. Neurologically, empathy is facilitated by mirror neurons, which are brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. These neurons help us mirror the emotions of others, making empathy a biological as well as a psychological phenomenon. Research in neuroscience has shown that empathy can be cultivated and strengthened through practice, suggesting that it is a skill we can develop to enhance our relationships and social interactions. Empathy in spiritual and philosophical traditions. Many spiritual and philosophical traditions emphasize the importance of empathy as a way to connect with others and live a moral life. In Buddhism, the concept of karuna, or compassion, is closely linked to empathy. The Buddha taught that by understanding the suffering of others, we can cultivate compassion and work to alleviate that suffering. This empathetic understanding is not just an emotional reaction, but a deep recognition of the interconnectedness of all beings, which leads to compassionate action. In Christianity, the Golden Rule, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," is a direct call to empathy. This ethical principle, found in various forms across many cultures and religions, encourages us to consider others' perspectives and to treat them with the same kindness and respect we would wish for ourselves. Jesus' life and teachings are filled with examples of empathy, from his interactions with the marginalized to his ultimate sacrifice on the cross. These acts of empathy demonstrate a deep love for humanity and a desire to bridge the gaps of social and spiritual separation. In Confucianism, empathy is reflected in the concept of Ren, often translated as benevolence or humaneness. Confucius taught that Ren is the foundation of moral behavior and is rooted in the ability to empathize with others. He believed that by cultivating empathy, individuals could create harmonious relationships and a just society. Confucius' teachings on empathy highlight the idea that our humanity is realized through our connections with others, and that these connections are strengthened by our capacity to understand and share in the experiences of those around us. The role of empathy in healing and reconciliation. Empathy plays a crucial role in healing and reconciliation, both on a personal level and within communities. When we empathize with others, we open ourselves to their pain, joys, and struggles, which can foster forgiveness and understanding. This is particularly important in situations of conflict or injustice, where empathy can help bridge divides and pave the way for reconciliation. In his book, The Anatomy of Peace, the Arbinger Institute explores how empathy can transform conflict into peace. The authors argue that conflicts arise when we see others as objects or obstacles, rather than as human beings with their own thoughts, feelings, and needs. By adopting an empathic approach, seeing others as people, we can break down the barriers that lead to animosity and work towards peaceful resolutions. This approach is not just about avoiding conflict, but about actively creating a world where understanding and compassion prevail. Archbishop Desmond Tutu's work with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa is a powerful example of empathy in action. The Commission's process of hearing the stories of both victims and perpetrators of apartheid was rooted in empathy, with the goal of understanding the human impact of these events and fostering reconciliation. Tutu emphasized that empathy was essential for healing the deep wounds of apartheid, allowing individuals and communities to move forward with a sense of shared humanity. Empathy and social change. Empathy is also a driving force behind social change, motivating individuals and groups to take action against injustice and to advocate for those who are marginalized or oppressed. When we empathize with others, we are more likely to be moved to action, using our resources and influence to create a more just and equitable world. Martin Luther King Jr. frequently spoke about the importance of empathy in the fight for civil rights. He understood that empathy could awaken the conscience of a nation, leading people to recognize the injustices faced by African Americans and to support the movement for equality. In his Letter from Birmingham Jail, King wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny." This statement reflects King's belief that empathy, seeing ourselves in others and understanding their struggles, was essential for building a unified and just society. In more recent times, movements for social justice, such as the Black Lives Matter movement, have highlighted the importance of empathy in addressing systemic racism and inequality. By sharing stories and experiences of those who have been marginalized, these movements seek to foster empathy among broader society, encouraging people to stand in solidarity with those who are suffering and to work towards meaningful change. Cultivating empathy in everyday life. While empathy is a natural human capacity, it can also be cultivated and strengthened through intentional practice. Developing empathy involves actively listening to others, seeking to understand their perspectives, and reflecting on our own experiences of connection and disconnection. One practical way to cultivate empathy is through mindfulness meditation, which can help us become more aware of our own emotions and those of others. Loving kindness meditation, in particular, involves focusing on feelings of love and compassion for oneself and others, gradually extending these feelings to all beings. This practice can increase our capacity for empathy by deepening our sense of connection with others and reinforcing our commitment to compassionate action. Empathy can also be nurtured through storytelling and the arts, which allow us to experience the world from different perspectives. Reading literature, watching films, or engaging with other forms of art that depict diverse experiences can expand our understanding of the human condition and enhance our ability to empathize with people from different backgrounds. In our daily interactions, empathy can be practiced by taking the time to listen deeply to others, withholding judgment, and responding with kindness and understanding. Simple acts of empathy, such as offering support to a friend in need or acknowledging the feelings of a colleague, can have a profound impact on our relationships and contribute to a more compassionate community. The global need for empathy. In a world facing complex global challenges, empathy is more important than ever. Issues such as climate change, migration, and economic inequality require a collective response that is grounded in empathy and a deep understanding of our interconnectedness. Empathy can help us transcend national, cultural, and ideological boundaries, fostering a sense of global solidarity and shared responsibility. Pope Francis, in his encyclical Laudato Si', emphasizes the need for empathy in addressing environmental issues. He calls for a culture of care, where we recognize the impact of our actions on others, particularly the poor and vulnerable, and take responsibility for protecting the earth. This call to empathy extends to future generations, urging us to consider the long-term consequences of our decisions and to act in ways that promote the well-being of all life on the planet. Similarly, the global refugee crisis highlights the need for empathy in responding to the plight of those who have been displaced by conflict, persecution, or environmental disasters. Organizations like the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, work to raise awareness and foster empathy for refugees, encouraging countries and individuals to provide support and to advocate for policies that protect the rights and dignity of displaced persons. Conclusion. Chapter 7 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation underscores the essential role of empathy in fostering unity and deepening our connections with others. Through empathy, we transcend our individual perspectives and enter into the emotional world of others, creating bonds that unite us across differences. Empathy is not just a passive experience, but an active force that drives compassionate action, healing, and social change. Chapter 8. The Transformative Power of Gratitude in Fostering Unity and Joy. In this chapter, we explore the profound role of gratitude as a transformative force that fosters unity, deepens our connections with others, and enhances our experience of joy. Gratitude, often described as the recognition of goodness in our lives, is more than just a personal emotion. It is a spiritual practice that aligns us with the divine essence of love and unity. By cultivating gratitude, we open ourselves to the abundant beauty of life, strengthen our bonds with others, and contribute to the collective well-being of humanity. The essence of gratitude. Gratitude is the practice of recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of our lives, whether they are small, everyday occurrences or significant, life-changing events. At its core, gratitude involves acknowledging the interconnectedness of all things, and the many ways in which we are supported and blessed by others and by the universe. Philosopher and theologian Meister Eckhart once said, "If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough." This simple yet profound statement underscores the idea that gratitude is a fundamental spiritual practice, one that can lead us into a deeper relationship with the divine and with all of creation. Gratitude helps us to see beyond our immediate concerns and recognize the broader tapestry of life, where every thread is interconnected and every blessing is part of a larger whole. Psychological research has shown that gratitude is closely linked to well-being and happiness. Studies have found that individuals who regularly practice gratitude experience greater levels of positive emotions, better physical health, and stronger relationships. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking in our lives to the abundance that surrounds us, fostering a sense of contentment and fulfillment. This shift in perspective is crucial for cultivating a sense of unity and connection with others, as it encourages us to recognize the shared blessings that sustain us all. Gratitude in spiritual and philosophical traditions. Gratitude has been a central theme in many spiritual and philosophical traditions, where it is often seen as a pathway to divine love and unity. In Christianity, gratitude is a recurring theme in the Bible, where believers are encouraged to give thanks in all circumstances. The Apostle Paul writes in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." This call to gratitude is not just about expressing thanks for the good things in life, but also about recognizing God's presence in every moment, even in times of difficulty. Gratitude, in this sense, is an act of faith and trust in the divine plan. In Buddhism, gratitude is closely associated with mindfulness and the recognition of interdependence. The practice of anamadana, or rejoicing in the happiness and success of others, is a form of gratitude that cultivates joy and reduces envy. By practicing anamadana, Buddhists express gratitude for the good fortune of others, thereby fostering a sense of unity and connection. This practice also reinforces the understanding that the well-being of one is connected to the well-being of all, and that by celebrating others' happiness, we contribute to the collective joy of the community. In indigenous traditions, gratitude is often expressed through rituals and ceremonies that honor the earth and all living beings. Native American cultures, for example, have long practiced gratitude as a way of life, acknowledging the interconnectedness of all things and giving thanks for the gifts of nature. The Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving Address, also known as the words that come before all else, is a traditional prayer of gratitude that honors the earth, the waters, the plants, the animals, and the Creator. This expression of gratitude reflects a deep understanding of the unity of creation and the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. Gratitude as a tool for healing and reconciliation. Gratitude also plays a powerful role in healing and reconciliation, both on a personal level and within communities. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus from the wounds of the past to the blessings of the present, creating space for forgiveness and healing. Gratitude helps us to recognize the good in others, even those with whom we have experienced conflict, and to appreciate the lessons learned from difficult experiences. In his work on forgiveness and reconciliation, Archbishop Desmond Tutu often spoke about the importance of gratitude in the healing process. Tutu believed that by focusing on what we have to be grateful for, we can find the strength to forgive and to move forward with hope and compassion. He wrote, "Forgiveness and gratitude are two sides of the same coin. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the past and open our hearts to the future. And when we practice gratitude, we cultivate the joy and peace that make forgiveness possible." Tutu's insights highlight how gratitude can be a transformative force in healing relationships and fostering unity. On a larger scale, gratitude can also contribute to the healing of historical injustices and the building of more inclusive and equitable societies. In the context of social justice movements, gratitude can be a powerful tool for acknowledging the contributions of those who have struggled for freedom and equality. By expressing gratitude for the sacrifices and achievements of others, we honor their legacy and strengthen our commitment to continuing their work. This collective gratitude helps to build a sense of solidarity and unity, as it reminds us of the shared goals and values that bind us together. Gratitude and joy, a cycle of positive reinforcement. One of the most profound effects of practicing gratitude is the way it enhances our experience of joy. When we cultivate gratitude, we become more attuned to the beauty and goodness in our lives, which in turn increases our sense of joy and well-being. This creates a positive feedback loop, where the more we practice gratitude, the more joy we experience, and the more joy we experience, the more gratitude we feel. In his book, The Book of Joy, co-authored with the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Desmond Tutu discusses the deep connection between gratitude and joy. The Dalai Lama and Tutu agree that gratitude is essential for experiencing lasting happiness, as it shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, and from our individual concerns to the broader context of our lives. They suggest that by practicing gratitude, we can cultivate a sense of joy that is not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in a deep appreciation for life itself. This connection between gratitude and joy is also reflected in the writings of mystic poet Rumi, who often spoke of gratitude as a gateway to divine love and ecstasy. In one of his poems, Rumi writes, "Gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk." This metaphor suggests that gratitude has the power to intoxicate the soul with joy, lifting us into a state of divine bliss. For Rumi, gratitude is not just a practice, but a celebration of life's beauty and abundance, one that brings us closer to the divine. Cultivating gratitude in daily life. While the benefits of gratitude are clear, cultivating a consistent practice of gratitude requires intention and effort. In our fast-paced and often challenging lives, it can be easy to overlook the small blessings and to take for granted the support and kindness of others. However, by making gratitude a daily habit, we can begin to transform our perspective and deepen our connections with others. One practical way to cultivate gratitude is through journaling. Keeping a gratitude journal, where we regularly write down the things we are thankful for, can help us to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and to develop a more grateful mindset. This practice has been shown to increase well-being and resilience, as it encourages us to recognize and appreciate the good in our lives, even during difficult times. Another way to practice gratitude is through mindfulness meditation. By taking a few moments each day to reflect on the things we are grateful for, we can cultivate a sense of presence and awareness that enhances our appreciation for the present moment. Mindfulness meditation helps us to slow down and to notice the beauty and goodness that surround us, fostering a deeper connection with ourselves and with the world. In our interactions with others, Expressing gratitude can strengthen our relationships and build a sense of mutual respect and appreciation. Simple acts of gratitude, such as saying thank you or writing a note of appreciation, can have a profound impact on those around us, creating a ripple effect of kindness and goodwill. By making gratitude a regular part of our communication, we contribute to a culture of positivity and connection. Global gratitude, building a unified world. In a global context, gratitude can be a powerful force for building unity and fostering cooperation. When we recognize the interconnectedness of all life and the many ways in which we are supported by others, we are more likely to act in ways that promote the common good. Gratitude encourages us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, where our well-being is linked to the well-being of others and the planet. In environmental movements, for example, gratitude for the earth and its resources can inspire actions that protect and preserve the natural world. The concept of earth gratitude involves recognizing the gifts of nature and taking responsibility for their care. By cultivating a sense of gratitude for the environment, we are more likely to engage in sustainable practices and to advocate for policies that protect the planet for future generations. In the context of international relations, gratitude can also play a role in fostering peace and cooperation. By acknowledging the contributions and sacrifices of other nations and cultures, we can build relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Gratitude helps to break down barriers of mistrust and to create a foundation for dialogue and collaboration, contributing to a more peaceful and unified world. Chapter 9. The Role of Humility in Cultivating Unity and Spiritual Growth. In Chapter 9 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, we turn our attention to the virtue of humility, a quality that plays a crucial role in fostering unity, deepening our spiritual growth, and enhancing our relationships with others. Humility, often misunderstood as self-deprecation or weakness, is in fact a profound recognition of our interconnectedness and the limits of our individual knowledge and power. By embracing humility, we open ourselves to greater wisdom, compassion, and the ability to truly connect with others on a deep and meaningful level. Understanding true humility. True humility is not about thinking less of ourselves, but rather thinking of ourselves less. It involves recognizing that we are part of something much larger than our individual selves, and that our worth is not diminished by acknowledging the contributions and value of others. Humility allows us to step back from the ego's desire for recognition and superiority, and instead embrace a mindset of service, gratitude, and interconnectedness. C.S. Lewis, in his book Mere Christianity, famously wrote, "True humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less." This perspective highlights the idea that humility is not about self-abasement, but about placing the focus on others and the greater good. Lewis suggests that humility frees us from the burdens of pride and self-centeredness, allowing us to engage with the world and with others in a more authentic and compassionate way. In many spiritual traditions, humility is considered a foundational virtue. In Christianity, for example, Jesus Christ is often depicted as the ultimate model of humility, serving others selflessly and teaching his followers to do the same. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, writes, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather, in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." Philippians 2:3-4. This passage reflects the Christian belief that humility is essential for living a life of love and service, where the well-being of others is prioritized. In Buddhism, humility is closely linked to the concept of anatta, or non-self, which teaches that the self is an illusion, and that clinging to ego-based identity leads to suffering. The practice of humility in Buddhism involves letting go of the ego's attachments and recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. This understanding fosters compassion and a sense of unity with others, as it dissolves the barriers that the ego creates. Humility as a path to unity. Humility is a powerful force for unity because it allows us to see beyond our own perspectives and to value the experiences and insights of others. When we approach life with humility, we are more open to learning from others, more willing to collaborate, and more capable of forming deep and meaningful connections. Humility helps to break down the walls of pride and judgment that often divide us, creating a foundation for mutual respect and understanding. Mahatma Gandhi, who led India's struggle for independence through a philosophy of nonviolence and humility, believed that humility was essential for true leadership and for fostering unity among diverse groups. Gandhi famously said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." This statement reflects his belief that humility involves setting aside personal ambitions and desires in favor of serving the greater good. Gandhi's humility allowed him to unite people across different religions, castes, and social classes in a common cause, demonstrating how humility can be a powerful unifying force. Humility also plays a key role in resolving conflicts and fostering reconciliation. When we approach conflicts with humility, we are more likely to listen to others, to admit our own mistakes, and to seek common ground. This humility helps to de-escalate tensions and to create an environment where dialogue and understanding can flourish. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who played a leading role in South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, emphasized the importance of humility in the process of reconciliation. He believed that humility allowed both victims and perpetrators to come together in a spirit of forgiveness and healing, recognizing their shared humanity and the need for unity. Humility and spiritual growth. Humility is not only a key to unity, but also a vital component of spiritual growth. By embracing humility, we acknowledge our limitations and open ourselves to the guidance and wisdom of the divine. Humility helps us to surrender our ego-driven desires and to align ourselves with a higher purpose, leading to a deeper connection with the divine and with all of creation. In the mystical tradition of Sufism, humility is seen as a necessary step on the path to divine union. Sufi mystics believe that in order to experience oneness with God, the ego must be dissolved, and this can only be achieved through humility and self-surrender. The Sufi poet Rumi, who is renowned for his expressions of divine love, often wrote about the importance of humility in the spiritual journey. In one of his poems, Rumi advises, "Close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't use the door, only the window." This metaphor suggests that true spiritual insight comes not through intellectual striving, but through the humble opening of the heart to divine love. In Eastern Orthodox Christianity, the concept of kenosis or self-emptying is central to the understanding of humility. Kenosis involves emptying oneself of ego and pride in order to be filled with the grace of God. This process is seen as essential for spiritual transformation and for growing in union with the divine. The practice of kenosis teaches that humility is not about diminishing oneself, but about creating space for the divine presence to dwell within us, leading to a life of love, service, and spiritual fulfillment. Humility also encourages us to recognize the sacredness in others and in the world around us. When we approach life with humility, we are more likely to see the divine spark in all beings and to treat others with the respect and reverence they deserve. This recognition fosters a sense of unity and interconnectedness, as it reminds us that we are all part of the same divine creation. The challenges of practicing humility. While humility is a powerful virtue, it can be challenging to practice, especially in a culture that often values self-promotion and individual achievement. The ego resists humility because it perceives it as a threat to its dominance. Practicing humility requires a conscious effort to overcome the ego's tendencies and to cultivate a mindset of service, gratitude, and openness to others. One of the challenges of practicing humility is balancing it with self-confidence and self-worth. It is important to understand that humility does not mean thinking poorly of oneself or denying one's gifts and talents. Rather, it involves recognizing that our gifts are not solely our own, but are part of a larger web of relationships and influences. Humility allows us to appreciate our strengths, while also acknowledging the contributions of others and the support we receive from the universe. Another challenge is the fear of vulnerability. Humility often requires us to admit our mistakes, to seek help, and to acknowledge that we do not have all the answers. This can be difficult in a society that prizes certainty and self-sufficiency. However, embracing vulnerability is essential for true humility, as it allows us to connect with others on a deeper level and to grow in wisdom and compassion. To cultivate humility, it can be helpful to engage in practices that remind us of our interconnectedness and our dependence on others. Gratitude practices, for example, can help us to recognize the many ways in which we are supported and blessed by others. Acts of service can also foster humility by shifting our focus from our own needs and desires to the needs of others. Humility in leadership and community building. Humility is especially important in leadership and community building. Leaders who embody humility are more likely to inspire trust, respect, and loyalty among their followers. They are also more likely to create inclusive and collaborative environments where diverse perspectives are valued and where everyone feels empowered to contribute. In the business world, research has shown that humble leaders are more effective in fostering innovation, teamwork, and employee satisfaction. Jim Collins, in his book Good to Great, identifies humility as one of the key characteristics of Level 5 leaders who lead their companies to greatness. Collins found that these leaders combine personal humility with professional will, putting the success of the organization above their own personal interests. This humility enables them to build strong, cohesive teams and to achieve lasting success. In community building, humility fosters a sense of shared responsibility and mutual respect. When community members approach each other with humility, they are more likely to listen, to collaborate, and to work together towards common goals. Humility helps to break down barriers of pride and competition, creating a culture of cooperation and collective empowerment. Global humility, embracing our role in the world. In a global context, humility is essential for addressing the complex challenges we face as a human family. Global issues such as climate change, poverty, and conflict require a humble recognition of our limitations as individuals and the need for collective action. Humility encourages us to seek out the wisdom and contributions of others, to listen to diverse perspectives, and to approach global challenges with a spirit of cooperation and shared responsibility. Pope Francis, in his encyclical Laudato Si', calls for a global ecological conversion that is rooted in humility and respect for the earth and all its inhabitants. He emphasizes that humility is necessary for recognizing the interconnectedness of all life and for addressing the environmental crisis in a way that is just and sustainable. By embracing humility, Pope Francis suggests, we can move beyond the exploitation and domination of nature and towards a more harmonious relationship with the planet. Chapter 10. The Unity of Creation. Living in Harmony with the Divine Essence. In Chapter 10 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation, We bring together the themes explored throughout the book to consider how we can live in harmony with the divine essence that connects all of creation. This chapter invites us to reflect on the ways in which love, compassion, empathy, humility, forgiveness, and gratitude form the foundation of a life that honors the unity of all beings and the interconnectedness of the universe. By embracing these principles in our daily lives, we align ourselves with the divine essence, contributing to the creation of a world where harmony, peace, and love prevail. The divine essence as the source of unity. Throughout history, spiritual traditions have emphasized that all of creation is interconnected and that this unity is rooted in the divine essence. This divine essence, which can be understood as pure love, wisdom, or consciousness, permeates everything and binds the universe together in a harmonious whole. When we recognize this divine essence within ourselves and in others, we come to understand that we are all part of a larger sacred tapestry of life. In the mystical traditions of many religions, this understanding of divine unity is central. In Hinduism, for example, the concept of Brahman represents the ultimate reality or world soul, the unchanging and infinite essence that underlies all existence. The realization of Brahman as the true nature of the self, Atman, is the goal of spiritual practice, leading to liberation and unity with the cosmos. Similarly, in Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, the concept of Tawhid emphasizes the oneness of God and the unity of all creation. Sufi mystics, such as Ibn Arabi, taught that the divine is present in all things, and that true knowledge is the recognition of this unity. Sufi practices, such as the whirling dance of the dervishes, are expressions of this divine unity, symbolizing the harmonious movement of the cosmos and the soul's journey toward union with the divine. The Christian tradition also speaks of the unity of creation in the concept of the body of Christ, where all believers are considered members of one body, with Christ as the head. This metaphor illustrates the interconnectedness of all people within the divine plan and the importance of living in harmony with one another. The teachings of Jesus, particularly the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself, reflect the belief that love is the force that unites all of creation. Living in alignment with the divine essence. To live in harmony with the divine essence is to embody the qualities that reflect this unity: love, compassion, forgiveness, humility, empathy, and gratitude. These qualities are not just abstract ideals, but practical principles that can guide our thoughts, words, and actions in every aspect of life. Love as the foundation. Love is the fundamental principle that underlies all of creation. When we live with love at the center of our lives, we naturally extend kindness, compassion, and respect to others. This love is not limited to personal relationships, but extends to all beings, recognizing the divine spark within everyone. By choosing love over fear, we contribute to the creation of a more peaceful and harmonious world. Compassionate action. Compassion is love in action. It involves responding to the suffering of others with care and a desire to help. Compassionate action requires us to move beyond our own concerns and to actively work towards the well-being of others, whether through small acts of kindness or larger efforts to address social and environmental issues. When we practice compassion, we affirm the interconnectedness of all life and our responsibility to care for one another. Empathy and understanding. Empathy allows us to connect with others on a deep emotional level, understanding their experiences and feelings. By cultivating empathy, we can bridge divides and foster unity in our relationships and communities. Empathy also enhances our ability to communicate and collaborate with others, creating a foundation for mutual respect and cooperation. Humility and openness. Humility is the recognition that we are part of a larger whole and that our individual knowledge and power are limited. When we approach life with humility, we are more open to learning from others and more willing to serve the greater good. Humility fosters unity by breaking down the barriers of pride and ego, allowing us to connect with others in a spirit of equality and shared purpose. Forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is essential for healing and restoring unity in relationships and communities. By letting go of resentment and anger, we free ourselves from the past and open the door to reconciliation and peace. Forgiveness is an expression of love and compassion, acknowledging the shared humanity of both the wrongdoer and the wrong. Gratitude and joy. Gratitude is the practice of recognizing and appreciating the blessings in our lives. It shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is abundant, fostering a sense of contentment and joy. Gratitude also deepens our connections with others, as it encourages us to acknowledge the contributions and kindness of those around us. By living with gratitude, we align ourselves with the divine essence and experience the joy that comes from being in harmony with the universe. The role of meditation and mindfulness. Meditation and mindfulness practices are powerful tools for cultivating the qualities that align us with the divine essence. Through meditation, we can quiet the mind, connect with our inner selves, and attune ourselves to the presence of the divine within us and in the world around us. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, helps us to live with greater awareness and intentionality, allowing us to respond to life with love, compassion, and wisdom. Many spiritual traditions incorporate meditation and mindfulness as core practices. In Buddhism, mindfulness meditation is central to the path of awakening, helping practitioners to develop insight into the nature of reality and to cultivate qualities such as compassion and equanimity. In Christian mysticism, contemplative prayer and meditation are ways of experiencing the presence of God and deepening one's relationship with the divine. By incorporating meditation and mindfulness into our daily lives, we can strengthen our connection to the divine essence and cultivate the qualities that reflect this unity. These practices help us to remain centered and grounded, even in the face of challenges, and to approach life with a sense of peace and clarity. The global implications of living in harmony with the divine essence. Living in harmony with the divine essence has profound implications not only for our personal lives, but also for the world as a whole. When we embrace the principles of love, compassion, humility, and gratitude, we contribute to the creation of a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. In the context of global challenges, such as climate change, poverty, and conflict, living in alignment with the divine essence calls us to take action that reflects our interconnectedness with all life. This means advocating for policies and practices that protect the environment, promote social justice, and foster peace. It also means engaging in efforts to build bridges between different cultures, religions, and communities, recognizing that we are all part of one human family. Pope Francis, in his encyclical Laudato Si', emphasizes the need for a global ecological conversion that reflects the interconnectedness of all creation. He calls for a shift in consciousness that recognizes the intrinsic value of the earth and all its inhabitants, and that prioritizes the common good over individual gain. This call to action is a reflection of the belief that living in harmony with the divine essence requires us to care for the planet and for one another. Similarly, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) provide a framework for global action that reflects the principles of unity and interconnectedness. The SDGs aim to address a wide range of issues, including ending poverty, ensuring access to education and healthcare, and promoting peace and justice. Achieving these goals requires a collective commitment to living in alignment with the divine essence, where the well-being of all people and the planet is prioritized. Conclusion: Embodying the Unity of Creation. Chapter 10 of Infinite Love and the Unity of Creation invites us to embody the unity of creation in our daily lives. By living in harmony with the divine essence, we can contribute to the creation of a world where love, compassion, and peace prevail. This chapter calls us to embrace the qualities that reflect our interconnectedness: love, compassion, empathy, humility, forgiveness, and gratitude, and to integrate these principles into every aspect of our lives. As we move forward, let us remember that we are all part of a larger, sacred tapestry of life, and that our actions have the power to shape the world we live in. By living in alignment with the divine essence, we can create a world that reflects the unity, beauty, and love that are at the heart of all creation. Let us commit to this journey of growth, transformation, and service, knowing that we are all interconnected, and that our collective efforts can bring about a more harmonious and unified world. The journey of holistic wisdom. As we wrap up this journey on the Holistic Literary Channel, we want to take a moment to reflect on the rich insights and profound wisdom we have shared together. Our exploration has taken us through the timeless teachings of spiritual masters, philosophers, and thought leaders who have each offered us unique perspectives on how to live a life of greater meaning, connection, and purpose. From the mysticism of Rumi and the compassionate teachings of the Dalai Lama, to the transformative power of forgiveness as taught by Desmond Tutu, and the profound insights into love and humility from Jesus Christ, we have delved into the essence of what it means to live in harmony with ourselves, others, and the universe. Our journey through literature and spirituality has shown us that despite the diversity of paths, the ultimate destination is the same: a life aligned with the divine essence, filled with love, compassion, humility, and gratitude. These are the threads that weave us into the tapestry of existence, connecting us all in a shared human experience. The Holistic Literary Channel has been a space for exploring these deep, transformative ideas that have the power to change how we see the world and our place within it. We hope that these discussions have not only informed and inspired you, but also encouraged you to integrate these insights into your daily life. As we continue on our individual journeys, let us remember that the wisdom we have explored is not just for reflection, but for action. It is in the everyday choices we make, the way we treat others, and how we approach the challenges of life that the true essence of these teachings comes alive. Thank you for being part of this journey with us on the Holistic Literary Channel. May the wisdom shared here continue to guide you, inspire you, and lead you towards a life of greater unity, peace, and love. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay compassionate, and always seek the deeper truths that connect us all. Dear friends, if you are enjoying this audiobook, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to be notified on future content. Thank you with love.